You've spent your life wishing you were living on the other side of the world. Your partner, on the other hand, is more than happy with life in the UK. So how would you go about turning your dream into a shared goal for your family? James Reeves longs to move to Australia.
The country left such an imprint on my thinking and way of life. It's just something I can't seem to shake off.
But convincing partner Kelly to give up the life she enjoys in England has proven quite a challenge.
The UK is definitely where my heart lies.
When a trial week down under shows them both what life could be like,
It looks so lovely.
It is fantastic.
will Kelly be won over?
I'm concerned that everything that you've put into this to even get me here is for nothing.
Or will James decide home is where the heart is?
I've come up with what I think is the right decision now for my family, so I need to make that and then deal with the consequences.
Often ranked among the world's top 10 countries for quality of life, Australia's long been a magnet for British families on the move. Boasting a buoyant economy and temperate climate, with average annual rainfall of less than 600 millimetres and over 2,000 hours of sunshine every year, it's no wonder the land down under attracts those in search of good fortune. James Reeves is obsessed with Australia, having first fallen for the country's charms on a family holiday there over 10 years ago. Unfortunately, though, partner Kelly doesn't share his enthusiasm. Close to family in the UK, she hates the sun and doesn't like travelling. So, will a week down under be enough to persuade Kelly to buy into James's dream of moving to the other side of the world? The family's trial week down under begins with over 20 hours in the air, travelling from London to Melbourne via Dubai and Singapore. And when they finally touch down, even James admits the journey's been exhausting.
The flight for me was pretty awful, actually. I wasn't particularly well. I don't think I probably appreciated, even from past experiences, how much of a trek it is.
The challenge of travelling with small children has taken its toll on Kelly.
The kids slept one at one time and then the other at the other time, so there was hardly any sleep for me.
And all the time awake has given her plenty of time to contemplate how far they've come.
It is quite difficult to know that I'm so far away from home. Like a little gut-wrenching thing inside.
Ewan's already picking up on Mum's anxiety.
I don't think that my mum likes Australia.
Now he's finally got her here, James is determined to make homebird Kelly consider the country as their base.
I never thought I'd get Kelly to Australia, so just thought I really need to nail home now that this is the place for us to be.
But that's not going to be easy.
I think there's so much that we've got to see to make me actually come to a conclusion.
Having made the 10,000-mile trip, the only thing standing between James and his dream right now is the next 7 days. Meet the Reeves and Sibson family from Leicester in the East Midlands. They are Dad James, Mum Kelly, 9-year-old Ewan and Evelyn, aged 3. Kelly and James met while working at a local football club 10 years ago.
It took me a while to finally persuade her that I was decent enough to go out with. It took me about a year or so, didn't it?
It was more like 2 years. The first couple of years, it was just somebody who I spoke to, unfortunately for you, my darling.
James's persistence paid off, though, and 8 years later, the couple make a good team, despite very different personalities.
I'm much more of a risk taker. I'll do a lot more things off the cuff, as she's very strict, schedule, organised. So
I like to say that I keep James's feet to the ground because he does fly. I'm the safe person out of all of us.
But a holiday to Australia when he was just 13 years old has left James with a dream he refuses to give up on.
The country left such an imprint on my thinking and way of life. It's just something I can't seem to shake off.
I really want the Australia dream more than anything.
Longing to call the country his home, James has done everything in his power to put Australia on the map for Kelly and the children.
I check up on a lot of Australian things, Australian sport.
We have Australia Day parties more than St George's Day parties.
When I first went there, had kangaroo for the first time. Luckily I found a place in England that you can get it from, so yeah, we have it quite regularly. Kangaroo burger.
The children have developed a taste for Dad's dream.
I want to live in Australia because it's hot and sunny.
It might be fun for us to visit new places.
But Kelly has no appetite at all for moving to the other side of the world.
Never really a big flyer, not really interested. The thought of taking a day out to travel is not really something I'd like to do.
And the climate the country's famed for leaves her cold.
I don't like warm weather. The sun sees me, I go bright red. You know, putting a coat on, going outside and going in fields with puddles. They're the type of things that I enjoy. So thinking about being over in Australia where it's warm and sunny and just beaches is completely the opposite.
Do the kangaroo dance.
James knows convincing Kelly to change her mind and relocate 10,000 miles from home won't be easy.
She's very much a home bird, very used to her surroundings and routines.
As far as I see it, Australia would be a holiday destination, not a home. So the UK is definitely where my heart lies.
He isn't giving up though. Juggling careers with family time, James is now pitching the prospect of a better work-life balance down under, in the hope it will provide a chink in Kelly's armour.
I feel that this move to Australia could potentially free up more time for me and Kelly and the kids to do what we want to do, spend more time together and enjoy being around each other.
But while moving might give Kelly more time with James, Ewan and Evelyn, it would also mean losing out on time with loved ones in the UK.
You should be able to see your family whenever you need them. If we ever came to the decision to move, I don't know how I'd tell them.
She's especially worried about the impact a move would have on her mum.
The kids get excited when they see her, so to know that that wouldn't happen would be difficult because I know how much that means to my mum.
I'm not going to Australia, I'm going to Nanga's house.
Desperate to make Kelly buy into his Australian dream, James knows the coming week will be his best chance to convince her to take a gamble on where they call home.
I'm prepared to put in the graft to make it work for all of us, because in the long term I think it really could provide an amazing future for us.
But torn between her husband and her family, Kelly's not looking forward to what lies ahead.
It's a massive thing, and if I make the wrong decision, then it could ruin our lives.
The family are spending their trial week in Melbourne, Australia's second largest city. It frequently tops opinion polls as one of the most livable locations in the world.
Stuff that you look at on the internet and just think, oh, that'd be quite nice. So to be seeing it here in real life is a bit bizarre, really.
Home for the week is a 3-bedroom house in the new suburb of Williams Landing, around 12 miles west from the centre of Melbourne. But the big question is, will Kelly be impressed by her first glimpse of Australian living?
I'm not quite sure whether it's something that we're normally quite used to, though, is it?
No, it's very different from what we normally have, but it's quite nice. I quite like it.
James is more upbeat.
It's a good start, yeah. Wow, nice kitchen, yeah, I love it.
Kelly's staying quiet, but Ewan's not sharing his dad's enthusiasm.
I don't really like it.
Why?
It's just got 2 bits.
It's a bit different from home, isn't it? Wow, open plan lounge.
I'm not sure I like it.
Why?
I just think it's too plain.
The enormity of the task ahead could be dawning on James, but he's determined to keep trying.
What do you think, Em?
It's not our garden.
Oh dear. Fortunately, James is quick to spot something that does go.
I didn't expect to see these in the back garden in Australia.
They look like the ones that we used to have, though, don't they?
Yeah. Does give you that homely feel, doesn't it?
It hasn't been the best start to the week, but while the children kick back, James and Kelly get to work making themselves at home.
Let's get up the stairs, this suitcase is heavy.
It's not my fault, you're very strong, is it?
And having reached their destination, it's not long before they're unpacking their thoughts on the importance of the week ahead.
Babe, I really do hope you like it this week. So I have felt a lot of pressure that I want you to like it.
I'm concerned that everything that you've put into this to even get me here is for nothing.
Back in the UK, the family live in a 3-bedroom terrace house in Leicester, and they've worked hard to make it home sweet home.
We've refurbished every room in the house. We spent so much time, money and effort.
Still, James is willing to give it up for a home in Australia. But what kind of house will it take to tempt Kelly down under?
We like open plan. 3 bedrooms, ideally stairs. I like the thought of going up to bed. A bit of space for the dog and that's it.
Probably be beneficial.
If they do move, the couple have around £200,000 to spend on a home. To find out what their money could buy today, we'll show them 3 properties, 2 based on budget and a 3rd which could be their dream home. Only after they've seen each one will they find out its value. House hunting begins in the suburb of Hoppers Crossing, around 19 miles from central Melbourne. With parks, shops and excellent transport links, it's an ideal spot for families.
It does look quite a nice little area though, doesn't it?
But will this 3-bedroom house on a quiet cul-de-sac get Kelly enthused about making Australia her home?
If it was more 2-storied rather than a bungalow, I think we'd probably be there.
Not quite the reaction James wanted. Hopefully things will look better inside.
I think it's more dated than I imagined from looking on the outside. I'm not keen on the tiles.
I wouldn't like to live in something that has this type of hallway.
Well, we could make our own stamp on it if it was ours, couldn't we?
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe not. Perhaps the master bedroom will be more pleasing.
Walk-in wardrobe.
Wardrobe.
That's a big plus. It's got space, and having a wardrobe like that's
a huge help.
That would be massive difference.
But Kelly's less taken with the ensuite.
Yeah.
I would probably want to gut it and start again.
And Evelyn spotted a problem too.
No television.
There's no television in it, no. That'd make it better, wouldn't it?
Next door, a potential room for Ewan.
There you go, mate. This is one for you.
I think it's a bit small.
This isn't going well for James. For Evelyn, it's all about try before you buy.
Like she's in a sofa shop, isn't it?
Hopefully the spacious living area will appeal to everyone.
Oh wow, it's a nice open plan. It's a lot bigger than I actually expected.
Can't believe how big it is.
And the kitchen?
Again, goes back to everything's a little bit on the dated side.
Moving on, Kelly discovers something more palatable.
Oh wow, it's a pantry.
Oh wow, they've got peanut butter.
This is quite good, I like that.
So this is where we'll put the main things?
This is where I'll put the food that you're not allowed.
Looks like Kelly could make herself at home here after all. Time to see what's outside.
A dog must be here because there's a dog house.
That's always nice, isn't it?
Hopefully James's dream won't be confined to there come the end of the week. Meanwhile, some other features of note.
The washing machine's outside. I'm a little bit shocked.
At least it's covered though, you're not going to get wet while you're washing your clothes, are you?
Nice try, James. But having seen inside and out, is this somewhere Kelly could call home?
The house needs a lot of work to make it up to what we would feel comfortable in.
The property might not tempt her to the other side of the world, but with £200,000 to spend, would it be affordable?
I think £215,000.
I was looking more along the 200,000.
Right, let's have a look, shall we?
I'm nervous. 206,000.
That's £6,000 over budget.
Wow.
I'm not quite sure what I think actually.
Wait, so it's less than what I thought, which is good.
Considering the amount of work that we would probably have to put into it. I was hoping for a little bit less.
The price hasn't gone down well. If James is to convince Kelly to make the move, the next property will need to be more on the money. To find out, the family head to Werribee, a western suburb 19 miles from Melbourne city centre. It's one of the fast-growing areas in the country with excellent schools and amenities, making it an attractive option for families.
I don't know which one.
It's this one here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Will the chance to check out a display home on a new housing development help James sell Kelly his Australian dream?
I'm not quite sure if I like it or not.
It's a bungalow and I don't really like bungalows.
No, no.
Kelly and Ewan are a tough audience. Maybe they'll feel differently inside.
Oh, wow, I like what they've done with the wall.
The wall looks
I
amazing.
like it, it's really nice and bright.
Yeah, it seems a lot more spacious. It seems it makes you want to go forward into it a bit more.
That's more like it.
Oh wow, look at the bedroom. It's got the Same textures as outside.
It's a lot bigger
That's nice.
than the first house.
Very spacious.
It's so good, Evelyn's jumping for joy.
That's a lot of pillows.
The walk-in wardrobe is a hit too.
It's really white.
Don't matter, it's a wardrobe. It's massive, I love it.
I wonder if we have that much stuff that will fit in this.
I'm sure Mummy has.
And unlike the last house, an ensuite worth fighting over.
Who do you reckon be here all the time though?
Liz?
No, me.
Job for you.
The modern kitchen living area gets Kelly more excited.
It's so lovely.
It is fantastic.
The breakfast bar is humongous. Perfect for entertaining, wouldn't it?
But before James gets too hopeful, she's quick to put on her practical hat.
It looks so lovely and so perfect that that's going to come with a cost.
Moving on, it's not long before Kelly's finding fault again.
I don't think I'd be able to cope with having a bathroom with a completely separate toilet. It looks immaculate, but it's not something I think it'd be easily be able to get used to.
The bath bigger than this.
It was all going so well. Perhaps the outdoor area will get her back on track.
The grass is fake.
Of course it's fake.
The grass needs to be real.
It's low maintenance.
It's quite small as well. There's a little bit for the kids to run around in, but not a lot. Bear in mind with the dog and everything, I think we need more.
The lack of space has left Kelly underwhelmed, but moving back inside, she admits the house itself is pretty special.
This is, or could be, very close to perfection, couldn't it? And
Yeah,
I think that's a problem because I don't quite ever think we'd actually get there.
Time to find out if Kelly's right. With a budget of £200,000, can they afford to call somewhere like this home?
Who's going to turn over the card?
I'll do it.
£235,000.
That's £35,000 over budget.
235 gives me some hope that we could get something like this.
The price has shocked me. It would possibly tempt me to have a house like this. The compromise on the garden, it'll have to be taken into consideration.
Looks like Kelly is beginning to see potential in a house down under, and there's still one more property to view. But on their way there, Kelly points out something not quite to her liking.
It's strange, some grass looks really, really nice and healthy and some just...
It looks like it's dying.
It does, doesn't it? I just want to go water it off.
Property 3 is in Wyndham Vale, north of Werribee and 20 miles from central Melbourne. Offering shops, schools and recreation areas, it's an ideal area for families with young children. But could this 5-bedroom house be James and, more importantly, Kelly's dream home?
It's the first 2-story one we've seen, isn't it? Which is what we saw.
It's what we was looking for, wasn't it? It looks a bit promising, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's go see inside.
It's a good start.
Oh, the hallway is a little bit smaller than I imagined it to be. It feels like it'd be very dark, wouldn't it?
You're not going to spend a lot of time here, though, are you, I suppose?
No, you'd like a nice walk-in, wouldn't you?
Poor James. Hopefully the rest of the house will have the space Kelly wants.
I don't like it. I think it's too small. I think it actually feels like we've walked into somebody else's house.
That's not a good sign.
I really don't like the kitchen. I feel like it's very dated. Feels like we've gone back in time to like 1970s.
Uh-oh, and James admits he has doubts about the decor too.
It's very Scandinavian, I think, but we're nowhere near Sweden.
You've got that right, James. So, will the master bedroom be more to their taste?
No walk-in wardrobe. I never thought you'd be saying that. You're not sure what to make of it, really.
They have a walk-in wardrobe.
Oh, no way, I'll take it back.
Girls' bedrooms always need a walk-in wardrobe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We've got an ensuite. We finally found a toilet in the same room as the bathroom.
Sometimes it's the small things. Moving outdoors.
It's what I so expected about the Australian houses, to have an outside relaxation area.
I don't think there's anything that's wowing me though. As far as I can see, we can have this back at home.
How about something you wouldn't typically find at home?
I don't think it would sell the house just because there was a pool in the garden.
I think it would for 3 out of 4 of us.
Me, Evelyn and Daddy versus you.
The pool has put Ewan and Evelyn back on James's side, but back inside, the modern upstairs extension isn't working for Kelly.
I don't like the feel of coming from downstairs up to an area as open as this. It feels then too disconnected from whatever's going off downstairs.
James knows when he's beat and has to admit it's not the property he dreams of either.
The outside was good, but just not for me.
Even so, the couple are curious to know how much it costs and whether their £200,000 budget could buy it.
We don't think much of it, but I bet it is quite expensive. I'm going to say 270.
So who's going to turn the card?
I'll do it.
Yeah?
£280,000.
Wow.
That's £80,000 over budget.
In a way, I'm quite glad it's that high because it's definitely out of our price range. It's not something we're interested in, so we can close the book on this one.
The family have had an insightful day looking at houses down under. Property one was over budget, and the day-to-day call coupled with the price put Kelly right off. The grass was somewhat greener in property two. Even though the garden lacked space, it offered better value for money. Although it had the pool James wanted, the third property fell short of being the couple's dream home, and Kelly wasn't disappointed to discover it was £80,000 over budget. So with all things considered, will the family opt for homes in Australia or the UK?
Undecided.
You voted Australia, why?
Because the houses in Australia, I really like them because they're new to me.
I feel the jury's still out at this point. I'm a bit disappointed that not all of the houses that we've seen have met what I think or thought an Australian house would be like for us.
I feel torn at the minute because I can kind of see a little bit of what we could potentially have if we followed your dream, but I'm still very drawn to being at home.
Australian homes haven't won over Kelly or, surprisingly, James. But refusing to give up on his dream just yet, James remains determined to show Kelly the family can prosper and spend more time together down under. Back in the UK, James is a surveyor for a building repair company. As the family's main breadwinner, he regularly works up to 50 hours a week.
And I'm working a lot of hours in the weeks and often weekends as well, so no, definitely the balance isn't right for us at present.
He hopes doing a similar job in Australia will enable him to work less hours and improve his earning potential.
I'm hoping that the move to Australia could mean an increase in my salary to somewhere between £37,000 and £40,000 per year. It's very important to me that my job out there is secure and provides a salary for us to make a success of it over there.
But persuading Kelly to leave her part-time job as a catering manager at Leicester Football Club won't be easy.
I've worked at the stadium for 12 years, so to give it up, I'd lose all my friends and it'd be a very difficult thing.
While the children are being looked after by a childminder, the couple head out to explore work opportunities in Melbourne. James knows the day ahead has the potential to make or break his dream. We've arranged for him to meet manager Andrew Giorgio at one of West Melbourne's largest surveying firms.
Hi James, great to meet you. We're on one of our more busy
James
sites.
explains the kinds of building he's used to looking at.
Recently, it's been specifying repairs for existing buildings, not really new builds.
It's a good basis, but you'll need to have specific educational requirements.
Okay.
So we're looking at diploma, advanced diploma or a degree.
Okay.
And we're also looking at registration in the Victorian environment.
Having only recently qualified as a building surveyor, James would have to top up his qualifications and get more experience to register for work in Victoria.
How long do you think a diploma or degree or the registration would take?
Most people do it part-time because they're working, so it could take, depending on if it's a diploma, 2 years, if it's an advanced diploma, anywhere up to 4 years, and then degrees are longer, again, maybe up to 6 years.
It isn't good news.
Is there anything I can do without the qualifications that you've mentioned?
You can start working in the industry initially in more basic roles, and then obviously work and do your course part-time.
Having to work in a junior role whilst awaiting state registration is not what James anticipated. Meanwhile, Kelly is visiting Melbourne Cricket Ground, one of the largest sports venues in the world.
I feel really, really nervous. Knowing how big this stadium is, how big that the catering can be here.
We've arranged for her to meet with dining manager Adam Portelli. First up, a tour of the facilities, and straight away Kelly's bowled over.
I thought the Leicester City Football Club was massive, but this is out of it. It's a completely different scale.
It absolutely is. We can seat 100,000 people here. We can dine over 3,000 of them. Welcome to the members' dining room.
Kelly's eager to find out if she has the right experience for a catering management position in a venue as large as the MCG.
Football stadiums are generally very different and run differently compared to any other hospitality operation, but you do have the core skills.
It looks promising.
Would flexible hours around school hours and things like that be possible?
Work generally is either full-time or a casual basis, but absolutely you can work as a casual and you can work whatever hours suits you throughout the week.
Knowing she could have control over her hours is a big plus. What about the salary?
To compare your 30 hours part-time in the UK, you currently do, we would be looking at around £23,000 per annum. It's about 50% more what you're getting currently.
To know that I'd get a figure like that, to be still flexible, to work with the children, is amazing.
Encouraged, Kelly wants to know what her chances are of getting work.
We would definitely employ you here.
That's absolutely
And hopefully welcome to the team.
Thank you very much.
The news couldn't have been more positive for Kelly. Back at the building site, James asks about potential work hours for him, hoping it will bring better news.
The typical office hours are 8:30 to 5, Monday to Friday, so that tends to be fairly family friendly.
That's good. It's a lot less than I'm working at the moment at home.
Yeah.
Less hours would mean the family time he craves, providing he can find a job.
It's dependent on you applying for positions. It's also the companies that are putting those ads out, whether they've got more junior positions that you can then ease yourself into and get yourself on the run, moving yourself up the ladder.
The big question now is how much would he earn?
Anywhere from £30,000 initially and moving up to the £50,000 and above when you've got the registration.
How quickly could I get up to the sort of 50,000 figure that you mentioned?
Anywhere from 5 to 6 or more years.
Until he establishes himself, James could be earning £4,000 less every year.
I'm absolutely gutted, to be quite honest. I didn't think the salary would be less than what I earned back in England. Put a downer on the whole thing, really, to be quite honest.
The days delivered mixed fortunes for the couple. Keen to share their news, they reunite at the stadium.
You're right.
How are you? How'd you work, Chaka?
Better than I expected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they could give me some form of work here on a casual basis, looking about 23,000 a year. We need to know how yours went more, because you need the work.
Disaster.
Really?
Yeah. I could get work.
Yep.
But it'd be probably starting at like 30,000. It could take up to 5-6 years to get properly qualified. At which point, though, it'd go up to 50,000. But it'd mean doing a part-time qualification.
That shocked me.
Just crushed.
Focused on the news that short-term he might have to work in a junior role for a smaller salary, James could be starting to doubt his own dream. Knowing what they do now, how will the day impact on the couple's decision when it comes to choosing between work in Australia or the UK?
UK.
Why did you pick the UK?
Just based on salary and job prospects, really, in terms of what I do at the minute and what I'd have to do to bring myself up to speed.
I voted UK. We go in this together, and even though my work chat went really well, my vote goes on us as a couple. Right now, I feel quite negative about the Australian dream.
Well, on a purely selfish note, I hope Lifestyle Day goes better than today has gone.
News that James may have to take a step back in Australia has been a knockout blow for both him and Kelly. So will the opportunity to sample the outdoor lifestyle James first fell for as a child be enough to resurrect his dream and prove a game changer for the whole family? Making the most of their time together, the family head out to explore Melbourne, starting their day at Federation Square, a modern piazza referred to as the heart and soul of the city. Popular with family-friendly street performers, there's always plenty to see here.
It's nice, doggy, isn't it?
It's a polar bear.
And soaking up the atmosphere helps give them an appetite for Aussie living.
Yeah, thanks, Daddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. 5 years' time, I'll come back, yeah.
Wow, look how big that is.
We're back.
How are your trips, mate?
Not sure if that's a kangaroo burger, but the day's definitely got James and Kelly thinking.
If there's any chance of Kelly wanting to move out here, away from her family and friends, we need to be spending more time together, doing more stuff like this.
It's quite nice out here, really, isn't it?
Next, they head to a park in the redeveloped Docklands area, where we've arranged for them to meet up with 2 other families who've made the move.
Everybody shake hands.
While the children enjoy a kickabout, Kelly and James chat to expat Charmaine and her husband Greg.
So guys, what are the pros about living in Australia?
There are so many amazing facilities for small children.
And all the fantastic beaches. Yeah,
the lifestyle, everything's really laid back, everyone's very friendly.
But there's got to be some cons.
Enormous con is the fact that my family are in England. It's 24 hours on an aeroplane away.
That is a concern of mine, not being in a position to be able to keep going back as often.
Yeah, I think technology helps. Being able to talk to my mother whenever I want. There's a massive British population in Melbourne, so there's lots of help. So all the things that you would ask Mum, there's somebody else there to ask.
Spending time with the other families has given Kelly a much-needed boost.
And to be able to see the kids running around and having fun is what we actually want more than anything else. To actually see them interact with some of the kids already based here, it helps.
But the afternoon has also reminded her they'd be spending days like this without their extended family.
To take my children away from both sets of grandparents would be extremely difficult. So to come all the way over here and knowing that they won't have the relationship with our children like they would their other grandkids, I don't think it's fair.
For James, though, the day's done enough to reignite his passion for moving after his disappointing work news.
I'm clinging on to the fact that there could be other jobs for me which could make the decision to move to Australia a lot easier.
Kelly's delighted today has put James in better form, but his enthusiasm could make her choice harder come the end of the week.
I love James and I want to see him happy. If we don't come to a decision, it becomes then, which way do we go?
For now, it's time to find out if the Australian lifestyle has done enough to win over the whole family.
Australia!
Why did you choose Australia?
Just everything that I imagined a lifestyle day would be, or day off for us, you know, all weekends can be spent doing this.
Similar to me, really, to see the kids enjoying themselves outside and actually to be able to spend a little bit of time talking to people who have done the similar sort of things is helped try and put it into a bit more of a perspective for me. Today's been a good day.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good day.
A unanimous vote for Australia has saved James's dream for now. But after the news he'd earn less earlier in the week, can the family really afford a move? Ideally, they would plan to sell their home in the UK. They believe it's worth around £126,000. To see if they're right, we sent round to estate agents for current valuations.
Oh no, we didn't tidy the shoes up.
A nice open plan living space, incorporating the lounge, the kitchen, the dining room. There's a few cracked tiles in the kitchen, and it would have been nice to see the tiling go through to the dining area.
I never thought about that. The main bedroom here, slightly cluttered, but generally a good size and airy. That's terrible.
In today's market, I'd value this property between £135,000 and £140,000. For a quick sale, I'd put it on the market for £130,000.
Wow.
In today's market, I would value this property for £134,950. For a quick sale, I'll market it for best offers ever £125,000.
I didn't expect that at all.
Oh my gosh.
What? I'm a little shocked.
Basically, we've made probably between 20 and 25,000 on the house.
Really?
Yeah.
While the children play, the couple take a look at the rest of the figures.
I'm really nervous about this bit.
You're nervous about everything.
To help, we've provided them with a breakdown of living costs. First up is the weekly food bill.
So the salmon we pay just under £4 for, £3.98 in the UK. In Australia it's £7.42.
You pretty much get the whole fish back at
That's
home.
like almost double.
But the higher price tags aren't the only contentious matter.
Your honey nut cornflakes.
I don't eat honey cornflakes.
You do.
I don't.
You do. I buy them for you.
Overall, they'd be paying out over £30 more per week.
I'm not happy with that figure.
Moving on, they look at the bigger monthly bills. Starting with mortgage repayments, they're basing the figure on the second house they viewed.
The mortgage for the UK is £470. In Australia, it'd be £998. That's massive.
Overall, Kelly's shocked to learn they'd be paying out over £600 more every month.
The figures aren't adding up right.
It might be different though after we work our salaries. Even though I had disappointing news, you had really good news.
And James points out a positive with his earnings too.
Even though there's a £4,000 a year difference, we're going to lose out on £6 per month. The tax differences for my wage bracket must be really different over here.
Kelly's higher salary is cause for further celebration.
We are better off by £732 per month. What do you think about that?
That's a better figure to look at.
Yeah.
Even with the substantially higher outgoings, the final sums show they'd still be in the black every month in Australia, and James is delighted.
I couldn't be any more pleased, really.
Not that we're £50 better at.
This is literally saying to us, can we make it financially work? And on the basis of that bottom figure, no matter what it is, the answer is yes.
Yeah, but I see that as yes, just.
We're not going to agree, are we? Let's face it.
There could be trouble ahead, but when it comes to choosing between finances at home or away, how will the couple vote?
Australia.
Okay.
I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not surprised with yours either. I haven't seen enough figures.
I think we're back to where we are, aren't we? The risk taker and the safe player.
A modest financial gain has dented James's chances of persuading Kelly to uproot to the other side of the world. As the family sit down to watch messages from loved ones back home, James knows this could be another hurdle he just can't overcome.
Thank you, babe.
Hi, Jamie, Kelly, Ewan, Evelyn.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kelly and James.
G'day, mate. Jamie's a loyal person, loves his family to bits.
Kelly to me has been a breath of fresh air to Jamie since they met. She's such a bubbly girl. Everybody I know who knows her loves her to bits.
Jamie and Kelly, they're really good together.
They're great parents as well, bringing up Ewan and Evelyn, fantastic.
Ewan and Evelyn mean the world to us, the absolute world. They are very much fun. Evelyn can make us giggle at a drop of a hat.
I will desperately miss them.
Kelly's got a very big decision to make.
Albeit it's a long way away from England, it's a fantastic opportunity that I don't want them to miss.
We're with you 100%. If you like it there, you stay there.
And we'll be the first out, Kelly.
Jamie, Kelly, follow your dreams, just go for it.
You've got to live with the decision you make.
Yeah.
And you've got to do what you think's right.
Mummy was crying because they
Yeah.
The couple send the children out to play while they reflect on what they've heard.
To actually see them and hear them just makes... I kind of just want to go give them a hug.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Watching heartfelt messages from loved ones is never easy, and the prospect of leaving friends and family has hit James much harder than expected. So will the couple's strong emotional ties to the UK ultimately prevent him from securing the Australian lifestyle he's dreamt of for so long? The past 7 days in the country of James's dreams has delivered many twists and turns for his family.
The week in general, to sum it up, has been just a roller coaster.
It's been quite a few highs, quite a lot of lows.
The workday would probably have been my highlight, but within the same day was probably our very lowest point.
There's one.
And viewing messages from loved ones has reminded everyone of their ties to home.
Today's been very stressful, just obviously a high of emotions which I didn't know were there.
They said stuff so nice that it made me cry.
It's been tough for me to see everyone else get upset. To sit there and see James cry in front of me is something that he would never normally do.
Where the family's future lies now rests on one decision.
It's extremely stressful to think that whatever I choose is going to affect somebody that I love very dearly, whether it be James and the kids or whether it's going to be someone back at home.
I've come up with what I think is the right decision now for my family, so I need to make that and then deal with the consequences.
It's time to cast that all-important final vote.
The UK.
You've shocked me.
There's a big part of me that thinks that we could, and a massive part of me that still wants to. I've loved every minute here. I just can't. I just can't.
I actually expected you to go for undecided, because I still think that there was things that you'd probably still want to prove that it could really work.
I don't think it'd be enough.
I don't think right now this is where we should be. I think our lives can be better. Being over here has made that clear to me.
We all want to be happy together, don't we? So we're definitely going to take some things out of this week and bring them back home with us.
James' attempts at selling Australia to Kelly haven't gone to plan, but the good news is their week down under has put the couple back on the same page. With neither believing the country is the best fit for their family, they're now fully committed to improving the life they've already got in the UK. Who knows what the future will hold, but wherever they end up, we wish James, Kelly, Ewan and Evelyn the very best of luck.
If you or anyone you know would like to take part in a future series of Wanted Down Under, go online to bbc.co.uk/Wanted Down Under. Next this morning, the thieves caught red-handed.